I've got a lot to do to get my work area straightened up here in the garage. We keep the middle portion open for the wife to park her car. I used to park my pickup truck in here years ago when it was in good shape, and I didn't have it full of junk. I need to box up all these canned items and get them ready to put on a shelf. I've got a shelf over there full of junk. Half of it's going to get thrown out, but I want to bring that shelf over here and build my work table area right here under the light. I don't have any neon bulbs. I'm going to get some. This area lights up pretty good when I get some bulbs in there. But I'm hoarding all kind of junk here I need to straighten up. But I don't feel like doing any cleaning up today. We're going to talk about my toolbox project a little bit, and then I'll probably sit down here and do a little paint scraping. Yesterday I showed you my fusee holder, and I'm open to any suggestions. I think we can incorporate this thing right into my toolbox system. Now, I don't have any plans for my toolbox project, but I'll show you. Well, I ain't going to go dig them out, but I've got several toolboxes back there. None of them are great toolboxes. They're old. They probably all need reconditioning. I'm going to build a base to put under this toolbox with wheels on it so I can roll it around. But if I make the base bigger, I can probably incorporate more toolboxes into it. And I'd like to incorporate this fusee holder into my toolbox in some fashion. Maybe on the end. Stick it full of screwdrivers or hammer handles or something. Oh, just an idea. I don't know. I got no major plans. I was at the hardware store and got a few things. I got some black paint for the interior. Nothing fancy. Here's a black handle. Wouldn't that look good on there? We'll paint this thing red, have a black handle on top. What else we got here? Nuts and bolts. Can of red paint. I think I already had some red paint over there somewhere. What else did I buy? Oh, I want to get me a toolbox liner to put in the bottom of this thing. And I don't look for it to be real fancy and pretty. I'm going to grind it up and clean it the best I can. But the way this thing is all dented up, it's just going to give it more character, but it ain't never going to look real fancy. Here's a couple of things I bought at Lowe's. I'm thinking I can put these cushioning things on the door to keep it from slamming down so hard. I was going to put them gas struts on there, but they're pretty dang expensive. I don't want to invest that kind of money in a little old toolbox. See what we can do with these. And it won't never be nothing real fancy, but my toolbox, my tools rather, nothing cheap. I mean, they're nothing fancy or expensive. I just have a multi-million different brands of tools. Definitely not a complete set, but I got tools stuck in every little corner you can think of, most of which need cleaned up. Digging around the corner, I'll pull this out. How many of you know what this is? Can't believe it got so rusty. I used to carry this in my pocket when I was inspecting trains. You learn after a while to look at a wheel on a box car, and just by looking at it, you know if there's something wrong with the wheel. Some of the defects they can get is thin flange, thin rim, slid flats, shelled out, breaks and cracks. One of the jobs of a carman was to catch those kind of things before it causes a major problem or a train wreck. I don't think railroads inspect their cars nearly as much as we used to. They're dependent on untrained trainmen who aren't trained in those techniques to catch that stuff, and they're not going to do it nearly as well as qualified carman. This is a finger gauge. I've got a thin flange gauge here somewhere. Set that up on the rail on the side of the wheel. Push this finger down and it'll measure how thick your flange is. I need to clean that up. Rusty files. I've got some. I'm going to do a electrolysis and see if we can clean some of them up. Gas tanks. I got to clean all this stuff up that I dragged out of various boxes. Nice little car. Pretty heavy. It's made out of metal or something. I don't even remember where I got it. I shouldn't leave my tools wailing around and get rusty. But anyway, not much to vlog today. I'm looking for any suggestions you might have for incorporating my torpedo fusee holder in some way or other into my toolbox system. You look at a fusee or a flare and you think it might be a stick of dynamite or something shaped like one. But when I was a kid, my granddaddy had a box of real dynamite under the back porch. And y'all might not believe that, but he did. I guess he didn't know us kids were smart enough to find it. And I had a piece out of it playing with it one day. That thing was just dripping with nitro. He had a fit when he caught me out there playing with that dynamite. I don't think you can even buy dynamite nowadays, but you could back in them days. Them old farmers used dynamite to blow up stumps. They even used it to fish with. Not quite the same color red, but it's close enough. Now let's do some paint scraping. I'll tell you a story as I continue to scrape on my toolbox here. And it concerns this garage. When I built this house, we didn't have a garage. We had a crush and run driveway out here. And I decided we was going to build a garage. So I went to, I don't remember, Lowe's or one of them building material places. Can't think of the name of it now. It's up there in Forest Park. And I bought the plans for this thing. And that included the cost of the lumber and everything else. Had them delivered out here. I just stretched a string across the back of the house, all the way across here, kind of lined the front of the garage up with the back of the house. Had my stakes all out here for concrete. Called the cement people out here. Cost me $8,000 to pour this entire driveway and a slab here for the garage. That took probably actually a few weeks. And then my son and I, he was about, y'all know him, you've seen him on YouTube, James. James was about, I don't know, 12, 13, something like that. Me and him built this garage in about a week and a half. But my story today is about the Contrary Mary. I had the rafters all up there on the roof. Didn't have the garage doors up then. And I was in the process of nailing plywood up there on them rafters. Well, I went off to work. I worked every day at the railroad, so I just had to work in the evenings. I went off to the railroad. I had umpteen dozen pieces of plywood up there, but they weren't nail good, just 2 or 3 nails in there to get them lined up. And Terry and Mary decided she's going to go up there and nail my plywood for me. Put a ladder up here. Got up on that roof and found out it was steeper than she thought it were. She sat up there and nailed nails for a couple hours and then got scared to come down. Had to call me home from work. I don't remember if some of the neighbors called or what, to get her off the roof. Got up there and couldn't down. You want to see a steep roof, nailing the plywood on that roof over there, which is a 10-12 pitch. It was some kind of freaky, and I built every stitch of that house myself. But it was kind of funny to have to come home and get her off the roof. Coming along pretty good with my paint scraping. Slow going. We got the thickest part off. There's a good 4 layers of paint on there. Still got to do this one end, and we're going to go to doing some sanding. It ain't taking near as much gas as I thought it would to do this burning. The outer layer, the green, scrapes off really easy. That yellow up there, you gotta heat it pretty hard, pretty hot to get it off. How about that? That was a AEI sticker, IDT sticker or something. Somebody stuck it on there. The moral of the story is, don't put your wife on the roof because it might cost you a day's pay. Come home and get her off the roof. This container had a layer of gray, which was probably, his toolbox had a layer of gray, which is probably a gray primer. It's got 2 or 3 layers of various different color yellow paints, and then the green one. Oh, it had a dark color yellow too. You can see it down there at the bottom. Every few years out there on the rip track, they'd call the painters out there to paint everything over and make it look pretty. Somebody behind me shooting. Young fella thinks he's John Wayne or somebody.